Okay, so thanks for your patience. And so far, we have completed 3 exercises so far in Employee Central Payroll. Now we are going to the next exercise, next segment, next unit, whatever you can call it. And this is where exactly the unit number 3 is very, very, very important for everyone who are into payroll administrator or a payroll consultant in EC payroll in SuccessFactors, because it is having almost 7 exercises we have to complete. And this is all about the payroll processes, how to solve those alerts. So it's a very important topic. Whether you are a payroll consultant or a payroll administrator, for everyone, this topic is very important for us. So stay tuned, and we will be looking at the first segment of exercise to understand the payroll processes in the payroll control center, right? And for that, I will go to the exercise, and in this exercise, what I'm going to do as a payroll administrator, I will be talking about how to configure a policy group, how to assign that to different payroll processes, and how do you utilize the one-click monitoring, how to assign a team associated to payroll control processes. These are different learning objectives we do have. Okay, so before we go there, people who are new and you do not have any knowledge about the payroll control center and how does it look like and all, so what I will be going to do, I'm going to go to the payroll. I have logged in as a payroll administrator, by the way, and in this, I will go to the just to see the navigation, I will go to the payroll. And as a payroll administrator, this is my home page. Okay, this is my home page as a payroll actors. You will be able to see this. Okay. So with that note, so you will be seeing people who do not know what is a process and what is policies. I'm just giving a briefing. Okay. So for that, I will be giving you an analogy. So there is an analogy I will be talking about. Let's say airport. Okay. So I think I have that analogy. Just to give me a minute. Uh, Before I go there, so if you're going for any travel airlines or any airports, right? There's a lot of processes. Okay. So before you go there, first of all, you have to do a web check-in. If you have not done, you have to do a web check-in. And when web check-in also is having this step 1, step 2, step 3, like that. Processes, right? Processes and steps. Okay. Just to remember, processes and steps. So similarly, just to imagine you are going to any other your favorite city, wherever you want to go, you have to first processes your all kind of web check-in or whatever the check-in process. Then once you do that, what is the next? So again, you have to, if you're having a check-in baggage and all, so you do that formalities, you take your boarding pass. That itself is a process. Okay. So once you received, let's say once you receive your boarding pass and everything, you go for a security check, right? So again, that is itself as a process. You have to basically bring up means the laptop, mobile, all of security details you have to put in a bag, and again you have to stand in a queue, right? And again collect. And once it is done, security check is done. Again, in the end, you have to collect those whatever you have put in the that tray, right? That's another process, and it has also steps, right? So now let's once it is done, again finally you are going to launch, and we are waiting for the final air means flight, right? Then again, once it is your boarding announcement happens, and again you go there and you finally take up the flight, and that's the entire process. Okay. So similarly, whenever you're talking about the payroll, we have also, there are different process groups, and in each and every process groups we have a steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, like that. Okay. And those details actually when it comes to payroll, so those are covered in the managed processes. So pre-payroll is one of the process. Just like you're entering the you are doing a web check-in, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. And inside that also, you will be having a different steps. Okay. So pre-payroll monitoring, you can think about, you are just entering the airport. Okay. Okay. And you are getting down from the cab and you are just entering to the boarding. Okay. So basically the web check-in and all, right? So here, again, there are steps you will be finding here. There are policies. So what could be an example of a policies? So you must be having your valid, whenever your boarding pass or a QR code, you must be showing your Aadhaar ID or whatever the national ID you are having. You have to showcase that. So without that, you are not going to enter. They will not allow you. right? So there are certain policies, and inside the flight also you have to switch off your mobile phone, or you have to be in a flight mode, right? Those are different policies or rules and regulations, right? Similarly, in this context, payroll point of view, for every process we do have a steps, we do have a policies. Policies are nothing but your validation rules. Okay, there are checkpoints. Okay, so we do have all these things, right? So this is just to set the context. Okay, and similarly we have a pre-payroll, then we have actual payroll, that means your production payroll, we have a payroll posting, then we do the finally bank transfer and all, right? So these are the different I will say the process groups or process cluster, whatever you can call it. Okay, and inside that we have again steps, right? So this is how the payroll control center is designed, and in such a way, and these things you will be able to access from the payroll control center administrator screen, whatever we are going to see shortly. Okay, so similarly all the policies, all the validations, everything are maintained here in the policy sections. You can see for master data we have a set of validation rules. Okay, suppose an employee is missing the main address. Okay, so it will giving an error. Okay, if whenever you're taking a flight, so definitely if you're missing your Aadhaar card or national ID card, you are not allowed. Okay, so there will not be an excuse. Even if you're having a digital copy, you have to showcase that, right? So these are the different validation rules, like bank details missing, employees locked, or employees gross amount is exceeding a particular amount. And these validation rules also can be changed. How to create all these things, not part of the scope now, but in the subsequent sessions we will be talk about it, right? But this is very interesting topic. So where this is a place where we manage policies, and all the set of validation rules, whatever you can see, these are already added. And if you want to add a new validation rule, definitely you can click this plus button, and there are predefined as a best practice validation rules already has been created in the system, already given. But if you have to create your own, you have to talk to an ABAPer, and there's some technical support needed. Okay, but for existing validation rules, if you want to utilize whatever is required for your process, you can simply select that standard validation rules and you can add to the process. Okay, so process is like a big umbrella. You can think of superset. Under that we assign the policies. Okay, always the policies are assigned to the processes, not the other way around. Okay, so that is something we have to learn here. Okay, so these are the different processes. There are different policies are there. Then there is another segment you'll be finding my processes, how it is different. So manage processes for the entire organization. Okay, so let's say you are heading payroll administrator for Chicago. Okay, and you have another, your organization is having presence in 30 states in United States. Okay, but you are not responsible for every states. You are responsible for only your own state, right? So in that case, in the my processes, you will be seeing only your own areas, whatever is relevant for you. But for in the managed processes, suppose I am a payroll super administrator, I will be able to see everything. I am a consultant, I can see everything, right? That's the difference you will be finding here. Okay, managed processes and my processes part of it. Okay, now coming to this exercise, let's try to focus on going back to the, this is just a briefing, and now we will be going to the exercise. So this is the my processes part. In the my processes part, you can see till you can see there is a progress chart, pie chart. Okay, as I say, for every process we do have a steps. Okay, some processes having a 4 steps, some processes might be having 3 steps. Okay, so those count you can see here. Okay, so in this example, bank transfer, there is 1 step already completed out of 3 steps. So for the reason it is showing 1 out of 3 has been completed, right? So this is the way how you can visualize all these active processes here, right? So now they have told, okay, so if you go here in any processes, okay, in the my processes part, you will be seeing there are different tabs here. Active processes, upcoming processes, upcoming off-cycle processes, and completed processes. Completed processes you don't have to worry about. These are the processes which are already have been completed. Okay, all this has been already done for that organization, right? Ideally, it should not be any error. Okay, so in this demo environment, you are seeing few errors are there, but ideally it should be all green. Okay, all process should be completed. That means it should be there, right? But in the active processes, you will be finding which is yet in progress. Okay, in my system, actually, I have not run for January. I have reset it, so I have to run January. For that reason, it is showing January payrolls are pending here, right? And for any upcoming process, that means for the next month onwards, or if something is missing, okay, which is upcoming days, those details you will be finding any off-cycle processes. So for that reason, it is coming as a blank for me, right? So this is the way how you can visualize all the processes and everything from here, right? Now, coming to the processes part and all, right? So in every processes, we'll be having certain steps and all. So you can go through the theory part. I'm not going through that, right? So if I go to a particular processes and policies configuration, which I've already talked about, okay, so they are explaining the same thing. I'm not going there, right? So going back to the exercise number 4. Exercise number 4 is all about creating a policy, configuring a policy group to be assigned to the payroll processes, okay? So in this exercise, what we're going to do is, so let's say I'm a process manager, payroll process manager, and what I'm going to do, I'll be creating new policies for my organization, and I will be validating that, right? So let's say I will be going to, let's say, for this example, okay, what they're expecting us to do, to create a policy based on the personal information, and we will be creating this, and after that we will be address missing, bank details missing, employees locked in the payroll, right? These are possible examples, okay? So what I'm going to do here, and we will be seeing based on our data, right? And we will be looking at already we have seen our group number is 11, okay? So we have everything is 11 based, okay? In this exercise, what I'm going to do is we'll be choosing a payroll from home. This is something we will be doing, already done it. And we add a policy, manage policies tab. So we will be going to the manage policies tabs. Let's go there. So you can see there's a tab called manage policies, okay? So in this, we have a lot of policies already people have added, okay, from a training point of view. So what I'm going to do here, if I scroll down a bit, there is an edit button, okay? So there is an edit button, there's a plus button, okay? If I click this plus button, I can edit, I can add whatever the policies I want to add directly into this, okay? So what we're going to do here is, so instead of that, we'll be choosing a plus sign, okay? We will be adding a new policies here, okay? So what I will do, instead of editing the existing one, I'll be creating a new policies, okay? So there's a difference between edit and adding, okay? Edit means whatever the existing policies are already there, you are modifying that, okay? But adding means you are adding your own policies for that matter, okay, for that exercise, right? So what I'm going to do, we will be adding a new policy. So I'll click the plus button here, and I will be adding the policies here, okay? So what it is saying here, after clicking the plus button, select this ECP USA policy group. Okay, so we will be using a policy group. So let's say our is group number 11. So Z11. So as soon as I click this, okay, so we have a policy group called this one, ECP, our policy group. So we have a dedicated policy groups. We will be clicking that. Then inside that, because you can see there is no name of the policy. So I will be giving a name to this policy. Okay, we'll be following a standard naming convention saying that this is our name. So I will be using this. For any master data, I want to need a notification. So what I will do, I will be using this as a policy name. So I will be clicking here, and I'll be adding 11 here. Okay, so this is my policy name. Okay, so now it has been updated. You can see that the policy name, as soon as I save it, it is updating here. But at present, we do not have any validation rules. Okay, so this is empty here. So what I'm going to do, I will be adding the validation rules. So in this exercise, we will be adding only 3 validation rules. There are so many validation rules, but for this exercise point of view, we will be adding only 3 validation rules. Okay, so let's try to add it. 8, 9, 10. These are 3 validation rules we will be adding in our system. So I will click this plus button, and we will be using the validation rules known as 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's say that's 11, C008. Zero eight. I don't know why it is not coming. SBP zeros XX C008. Let me see that. Example XXC008. Okay, so I think this is the one. This is SBP X008. Before that, just let me check it out. Remember, I'm going to add the following validation rules. From the validation list, select the following. Plus button. Example, missing main address C008, that is 1. We have added. Then C009. This one is this validation rule is for missing bank details. If you are having any bank details missing for any employee, this will check. Okay. Similarly, the C010. If any employees are locked, okay, while processing the payroll, right? So then this validation rule will be checking that. Okay. So now with this selected, okay. So we have a 3 validation rules, 8, 9, and 10, which is for missing main address, missing bank details, and if employees are locked. Okay. So after this is done, what is the next step? We will be choosing, there's a validate option here you'll be finding. Click the validate button here. If everything is okay, there is no errors found, then you can save it. Okay, so this is a process we need to follow. So this is our group, by the way, Z11 underscore HR812. And this is under that we do have all these validation rules and all, right? So now there's no errors found. Now this new policy is now available for use. Okay, so for the now, let's make a note of it. This is our policy number. Okay, so Z11 HR812 for our any master data alerts we are getting. This is the alert. This is the rule we'll be using it. Okay, so I think with this this exercise is completed. Okay, but let me check if anything else is there in this exercise. I don't think so. So what we are going to do, so there are further is the thing. So these policy validation rules are assigned to policy configurations executed by the system to identify any violations and potential risks. These rules validate employees' master data. So it will check all of your this thing. But how to create and amend a validation rules not part of the course. So there is a detailed guide about it. You can always refer the EC payroll guide in details. So there are also technical support needed for this maintaining and all. If you have to create, there are coding needed. Okay, so that is not part of the scope of this exercise. But how to simply add those existing validation rules to a process that we have tried to learn. So, okay, so with that note, I will take a pause here. Any questions or any reflections you like to share? Hope it was helpful.
So basically, what we are learning here is to like how to run payroll, and part of it, like it's kind of a payroll administrator role. So at any point of this, we can say training, we will get to learn the configurations also, or just.
Yes, yes. So basically, this today, whatever we are doing, this is an administrative job. Okay. So before becoming a consultant, we have to also understand the front end part of it. Okay. So yeah. So the backend part of it, we will be definitely going through in the subsequent bootcamp session. Okay, this is just today the first bootcamp of this quarter, right? For payroll. So we're just trying to follow the standard guidelines, and over and above, there are also configurations, right? Which the consultant have to do, right? But before going there, I am always getting a queries from a lot of students that we do not know the front end part of it as well. Okay, so for that reason, this session is actually I'm focusing. And once you understand this part of it, then you'll be able to relate to it whenever I'll be teaching the configuration part of it. If I directly teach the configurations, you will not be able to relate it. Okay, so people especially who are very new to EC payroll, if I showcase the front end part of it and I tell people, okay, so you just after going through this, now you go to the configurations, they will be able to relate to it. They will be able to connect the dot between the front end and the back end. Okay, so that is why this session is actually I'm conducting. Okay, this is just for your information, right? Okay, is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So thanks for your patience. If you're already knowing it, just to have a patience, and just to maybe people who will be watching in these videos, if you already know it, you just skip these videos and you can directly go to the configurations. No need to go through all these videos if you're already aware of operation side of it or administration side of it, right? It is for people who are very new, brand new, they have not seen the system at all, and they do not have a system at all, because getting an EC payroll system is challenging if you're not having a learning hub and if you're not working in a project. Okay, it is exclusively for them to, so that you do not miss any single point. For that reason, I'm taking all the sessions, I'm starting it from beginning actually, although I've done it in the past, but it is more systematic with the latter system. Okay, so that is why we are going through each and exercise and every exercise, okay, and bit by bit. Okay. Okay, so thanks for those feedback and all. Now, with that note, we will be moving on to the next exercise. In the next exercise, we will be going to talk about basically in the exercise number 5. I will go to